Good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to SaskAgToday. We're here live from Ag in Motion near Langham, Saskatchewan. Today is the third and final day of the event. Ryan Young here alongside Doug Falconer. And Doug, one of the things that we're going to cover here today is the Saskatchewan Crop Report.
Yes, it was released this morning. We spoke with Megan Rosso from Saskatchewan Agriculture's office in Moose Jaw. She'll provide an update on the Saskatchewan Crop Report, how crops are coming along, and how haying is going as well.
And we got plenty more coming at you, including a report from Kevin Hirsch of SaskAgToday.com as he spoke with the folks over at Ag Growth International. He also took part in and checked out some drone demonstrations here at Ag in Motion this week. And you could file this one under the In Case You Missed It category. We'll go over the Innovation Award winners that were announced on Monday night. All that and more here on Sask Ag Today. Coming up first is our precision weather with Phil Spivak. Again, you're listening to Sask Ag Today from Ag in Motion. We'll be back right after these messages.
It is another hot day with temperatures generally 30 or better, coming up some areas just shorter on the Yorkton area. But the heat warnings are in effect for most of the western portions of the province. Saskatoon included in the warning just west of Regina, the warning boundary. But the difference, we're talking a degree or two of humidex. It's just hot all around. And there is a lonely shower that has popped up. That indicates the potential for additional lonely showers. No widespread rainfall anticipated, but with that presence there proving the possibility, the chances there for any of us, especially around the Regina area, to see an isolated shower. Saskatoon could see one as well. Yorkton stays dry this afternoon. Temperatures are mostly low 30s. Humidex values in the mid 30s. Yorkton close to 30, 29 degrees on the average. Humidex at 33. That differential really not much of a factor the next few days. We all drop to around 15 tonight with a mainly clear sky, and tomorrow mainly sunny, the high within a few degrees of 31. At the humidex 36 to 38, we'll likely see the heat warnings expand just a little bit more. The chance of rain again 10% tomorrow. I normally don't mention 10% chances of rain because they are so negligible, but that lone shower is what we mean by 10%. One or two of us could see a shower across the entire province, but the chance is there. Partly to at times mostly cloudy Friday night into Saturday. Temperatures upper 20s to around 30 with a 20% chance of an isolated shower. The chance greatest toward the Yorkton area. We're right around 30 on Sunday, holding there 28 or so on Monday for the Yorkton area. Regina likely getting to or above 30. And we're in a warm air mass. We're not even in the warmest of the air. That's sitting off to our southwest, and it makes a bit of a push next week. We'll likely see temperatures closer to the mid-30s for a couple of days, at least for the middle part of next week.
Thank you very much, Phil. The normal highs for this time of year in Regina, 26 degrees. The normal lows, 11. Sun rose in Regina at 5:09 this morning, and the sun will set at 9 o'clock tonight. Taking a look around the province, in Assiniboia, 30 degrees. Moosomin at 26. Yorkton and Melville also at 26. Estevan, 28. Saskatoon is at 29 degrees. Swift Current and Weyburn also at 29. Hot spot in the province belongs to Leader at 32.5 degrees. And the cold spot or coolish spot is in Cypress Hills at 24.8. Over in Moose Jaw, it's mostly cloudy. They're under a heat warning as well. East wind at 11 kilometers an hour and the temperature at 29. And in Regina, it is mainly sunny. South wind at 9 kilometers an hour, humidity 54%, temperature 26 degrees or 79 Fahrenheit, and the barometric pressure is at 101.8 and falling.
Temperatures around the GX94 listening area this hour. The Paw is at 27 degrees. Swan River and Brandon 24, Dauphin 26, Shoal Lake Russell and Roblin 23. Saskatoon 29, Hudson Bay 27, Broadview Moosomin 26, Indian Head also at 26, Wynyard Wadena Kelvington 27. The Yorkton Melville region has a sunny sky, a south-southwest wind at 8 kilometers per hour. 54% is the relative humidity. The temperature is 26 degrees, but with the humidex it feels more like 31 degrees. Yesterday, Yorkton reached a high of 25 degrees and dropped to a low of 11 degrees. There was no precipitation recorded in the 24-hour period ending at midnight last night. The normal high for this date is 24 degrees. The normal low is 12 degrees. The sun rose in Yorkton at 4:56 this morning, and it will set at 8:55 tonight. Extreme temperatures for Manitoba and Saskatchewan yesterday. The Manitoba hotspot was Tuduli Lake at 30 degrees. The cold spot was Clear Lake at +4 degrees. The Saskatchewan hotspot yesterday was Leader at 34 degrees. The cold spot was Broadview at +5 degrees. And that's a look at your agriculture weather. Please stay tuned. SaskAg Today will continue from Ag in Motion right after these messages.
SaskAg.
Welcome back to SaskAg Today. Hot temperatures and a lack of rain has sped up crop development and allowed haying to ramp up across Saskatchewan. Megan Rosso is a crops extension specialist with the Saskatchewan Ministry of Agriculture, and she has the latest from today's crop report.
A week of warmer weather and reduced rainfall has accelerated crop advancement and enabled haying operations to progress throughout the province. With the forecasted heat over the next week, many regions are hoping for moisture to help support crop development, reduce crop stress, and sustain topsoil moisture conditions moving through the growing season.
She goes into the crop development in the East Central region.
Recent warmer weather has allowed for quicker crop development, with more crops moving closer to their normal stages of development for this time of year. Currently, oilseeds and spring cereals are still showing to be the furthest behind in their stages of development throughout the region.
Rosso provides an update on topsoil moisture conditions.
Reduced precipitation and increased temperatures have reduced topsoil moisture throughout the region. Currently, cropland topsoil moisture is rated at 8% surplus, 81% adequate, and 11% short. Hayland topsoil moisture is reported at 11% surplus, 80% adequate, and 9% short. And pasture topsoil moisture is 10% surplus, 68% adequate, and 22% short.
She notes haying operations are well underway.
Haying operations have progressed throughout the region with the drier weather. 26% of the hay crop has received its first, with 24% baled or silaged. Hay quality is rated as 35% excellent, 56% good, and 9% fair.
Rosso has some early estimates for hay yields.
Initial estimates of dryland hay yields indicate alfalfa at 1.97 tons per acre, brome hay at 2.02 tons per acre, tame hay at 1.83 tons per acre, baled forage at 2.24 tons an acre, and green feed sitting at 2.70 tons an acre. Silage yields are estimated to be 3.55 tons per acre as well, but producers are just getting started, so we'll continue to look at estimates moving through the season.
She says some producers are still spraying.
Producers are spraying some fungicides to suppress disease that has already been observed in fields, along with some proactively spraying to manage disease from developing within those fields as well.
There's also been reports of some crop damage.
Areas within the region reported minor to moderate damage from hail and wind, with some producers indicating lodging in cereals due to high wind events. Excess moisture continues to cause crop damage, with low-lying areas still holding water from past heavy rain events and causing crop damage. Minor crop damage was also reported for gophers, grasshoppers, heat, and lack of moisture in some areas as well throughout the region.
Rosso then goes into pasture conditions.
Overall, from reports that I've received, pastures are still looking decent within the region.
And she's reminding producers to stay safe out there.
Producers are reminded to keep safety top of mind while working, and for any crop or livestock questions, producers are encouraged to call the Agriculture Knowledge Center at 1-866-457-2377.
Megan Rosso is a crops extension specialist for the Saskatchewan Ministry of Agriculture, based in Moose Jaw.
Ag in Motion is the venue for many new product launches. AGI, or Ag Growth International, has used the show to launch vertical storage tanks for farmers. Kevin Hirsch of SaskAgToday.com has this report.
Many farmers have been adding more diesel fuel storage to take advantage of times when diesel fuel is less expensive. There's also a saving for buying large quantities delivered by super bees direct to the farm. Brian Bateman, Director of Liquid Sales for AGI, says their new tanks go up rather than out.
Footprint's important, and we're recognizing that tanks are getting larger on farms, and as tanks get larger in a horizontal orientation, it becomes a lot larger tank, and footprint is important. There's also an economy in building up as opposed to building along. We're able to eliminate saddles. We're able to eliminate skids that are traditionally found on larger tanks. So by going up, we can cut some of the steel that's in it responsibly, and create a tank that's got the capacity, but is certainly at a cost savings.
The vertical tank displayed at Ag in Motion holds 125,000 liters and will retail in the range of $100,000, considerably less than a horizontal tank. AGI's smallest vertical tank is 50,000 liters. The tanks are all ULC certified. That's not on-farm use in Alberta and Saskatchewan, but it is required in Manitoba. Either way, it's a good idea because the tanks are built for safety. The tanks are filled from the bottom with a 3-inch cam lock. The diesel is dispensed at about 40 gallons per minute. A gauge on the side of the tank shows the level of diesel inside. Brian Bateman says diesel fuel storage can save farmers money.
In a lot of ways, fuel is becoming like fertilizer, where people take a position on fuel, and certainly 125,000 liters allows you to do that. But on top of that, there's discounts available on direct drops. And, I mean, even when you're talking, probably a good case scenario of 10 cents a liter on 125,000 liters worth of fuel delivery, that's a pretty big savings.
For SaskAg Today, I'm Kevin Hirsch.
When we come back from this next commercial break here, we'll have Ag Review with Doug Falconer, as he'll have today's agriculture headlines. You're listening to Sask Ag Today, live from Ag in Motion. Stay tuned. We'll be back right after these messages.
Warmer and drier weather in Alberta has given canola prices a boost during the weekend of July 17th, according to one trader. Ken Ball of Ventum Financial Corporation in Winnipeg acknowledges that while dryness and warmer temperatures would be seen as beneficial in rain-drenched fields in Saskatchewan and Manitoba, heat stress on canola crops in Alberta would be aggravated. This has led traders to become a bit more bullish on the oilseed. Ball says optimal flowering conditions for canola are under moderate temperatures over a few weeks, which can maximize yields. Those who trade canola are keeping an eye on conditions. Ball says spreaders selling soy oil and buying canola are also affecting canola prices, as well as spillover pressure from soy oil onto canola. However, weather remains the main driver. With the pea harvest in Alberta about a month away, prices have been beginning to slip back. That's according to Kyle Sinclair, Chief Executive Officer for Producer Profit in Lacombe, Alberta. Sinclair says that yellow pea prices in Alberta peaked at about $13 Canadian per bushel earlier this year, with prices for green peas having reached $15 Canadian per bushel. Most of that selling would be off the combine and will saturate the prairie pea market. Sinclair says he firmly believes that once combining is finished, those prices will bounce back to an extent, but not to the $13 per bushel the yellows had been getting. As for Statistics Canada's projection for 3 million metric tons of peas in 2024-25, Sinclair suggests production very likely won't go much higher and could slip below the forecast. Farmers Business Network is expanding its footprint in Canada.
It's 1 o'clock.
The company that is primarily known for retailing agricultural chemicals direct to its farmer members plans to branch out into providing various other crop inputs, such as farm lending products. It's also exploring the idea of offering risk management tools to its Canadian farmer members. The company intends to start providing livestock inputs, including both pharmaceutical and feed products, to Canadian producers. And it's starting to dabble in the seed sector as well, utilizing its breeding facility in LaSalle, Manitoba, where it has been developing traits for many years. All the new platforms should be available in Canada in the next year or two, once they have been properly engineered for the company's online store. Brazilian authorities are taking measures to contain an outbreak of Newcastle disease in the country's southernmost state of Rio Grande do Sul. The government has confirmed that a sample tested positive for the viral disease, saying it came from a commercial poultry farm in the municipality of Antagorda. The official protocols to mitigate risks have been put in place, and the surrounding area continues to be monitored. Newcastle is a viral disease that affects domestic and wild birds, causing respiratory problems among other symptoms. Its notification is mandatory as per guidelines from the World Organization for Animal Health. The last confirmed cases of Newcastle disease in Brazil occurred in 2006 in subsistence birds in 3 states. China has named Danish Crown as well as Dutch and Spanish pork firms as targets in an anti-dumping probe into European Union pork imports. This as Beijing steps up pressure against the bloc's curbs on its electric vehicle exports. The world's biggest pork consumer opened the investigation after the EU imposed provisional duties of up to 37.6% on Chinese-made electric vehicles. The measures could badly impact Europe because a large portion of the bloc's pork shipments to China are pig ears, noses, feet, and offal that are only rarely consumed by Europeans. Farmer-owned Danish Crown, one of the world's biggest pork exporters, said it was fully committed to the investigation. China's tit-for-tat probe appears mainly aimed at Spain, the Netherlands, and Denmark, which analysts said were seen as supportive of the EV tariffs. And SaskAg Today is always available on podcast. Listen to past shows whenever you want. Find them easily by going to gx94radio.com. Also, you can hear the podcast on your Amazon Echo. Just enable the GX94 skill and choose SaskAg Today. And yes, it's free. And that's the Ag Review portion of our program. Please stay tuned. SaskAg Today will return to Ag in Motion right after this.
This portion of Sask.
On today's Beef and Forage Report, the mercury is climbing at Ag in Motion here at Saskatoon, but winter is coming, and those bone-chilling temperatures bring all kinds of challenges around watering livestock. For those tired of cutting ice and looking for a lower-cost alternative, Lee Smith has a solution. The Water Box is a livestock waterer producers can insert through the ice of a dugout, slough, or slow-moving creek. Once frozen in place, cattle can flip a lid near the ice surface and drink their fill. A chain inside the water box pops out any ice so the cow can drink. Once the cow is done, the lid closes, keeping the water hole relatively clear of ice, although Smith recommends checking it daily and cleaning away any ice buildup in front of the waterer, as well as any inside. It's portable and requires no power, making it ideal for remote locations. The Consort Alberta rancher wanted a waterer that would help out his parents, who were getting up there in age, and provide access to water throughout the day without requiring constant checking and ice cleanout. He didn't want cows crowding around the water hole, risking a slip or a fall through the ice, and that meant a device that reliably kept the water hole open. Over about 10 years, he created about 19 models, using them on his family's operation. Then in 2021, he launched the Water Box, receiving an award of distinction for innovation from Alberta Farm Animal Care. Since then, Smith has also launched a couple of models for bison. The Water Box also comes with a mineral insert, which also helps train the herd to use it. And that's today's Beef and Forage Report. Please stay tuned. Sask Ag Today from Ag in Motion will continue right after these messages.
And welcome back to Sask Ag Today. We're here at Ag in Motion. Today's the third and final day here at the site near Langham, Saskatchewan. Grain prices at Viterra, they were up in early trading today. Canola is up $9.90 to $5.8882, and one red spring wheat is up $5.21 to $2.4987, and the rest remain unchanged. Durum $3.1568, feed barley to $11.57. Chickpeas $9.25.94, flax $6.30.04, lentils $7.26.50, oats $2.50.32, yellow peas $3.77.08, and feed wheat $2.26.45. Doug?
On the ICE Futures Exchange, November canola closed at $649.70 today. That's up $18.20. January canola closed at $655.80. Up $17.90. September Minneapolis wheat is still trading at $6.02 per bushel. That's up 10 1/4 cents. September Kansas City wheat closed at $5.62 3/4, up 1 3/4 cent. September Chicago wheat closed at $5.35 1/4, down 4 cents. September corn closed at $3.91 1/4, down 6 3/4 cent. August soybeans closed at $10.98 1/2. That's up 1 1/4 cents. September oats closed at $3.30 1/2, up 5 3/4 cent. And that's the commodities update. Please stay tuned. Sask Ag Today, live from Ag in Motion, will return right after this.
The livestock. And welcome back. Time now for the livestock quotes. They're brought to you by the Weyburn Livestock Auction. Call Weyburn Livestock at 842-4574. Now here are the latest livestock quotes.
Good afternoon, cattle producers. Here is your HLS Yorkton market report for the week ending July 19th. We had no sale again this week as our yard staff is busy getting pens fixed and getting some maintenance done for this upcoming fall run. Our next sale will be July 24th. This is a regular sale, and we will be receiving feeder cattle, cull cows, and cull bulls Tuesday the 23rd from 8 to 8. We'll be selling every week now here in Yorkton, and the rest of the summer will be regular sales until August 28th, where we will be hosting our yearling pre-sort sale. If you have any questions regarding marketing, please don't hesitate to call the office or any of our sales staff here in Yorkton. Thank you to the existing producers who have put their trust in us marketing their cattle, and we are always welcoming new producers with open arms. This has been Carter with your HLS Yorkton Market Report. Have a great day, and thank you for being a part of our industry.
And the latest pork prices are at $217.73 per CKG.
U.S. live cattle futures for August closed at 182.25 today. That's down 202. October live cattle closed at 183.02, down 255. August feeder cattle closed at 256.22, down 232. September feeder cattle closed at 257 even, down 255. August lean hogs closed at 91.37, down 27. October lean hogs closed at 74.02, up 35. And that's the livestock market conditions.
Thank you, Doug. And just a reminder, today is the third and final day of Ag in Motion northwest of Saskatoon. Nearly 600 companies are on site with the latest equipment and technology in both the crop and livestock sectors. The Innovation Awards were held in Saskatoon Monday night, highlighting the best in 5 categories: crops, livestock, business solutions, agronomic, and environmental sustainability. The award in the business solutions category went to the Hedgehog app from RAC CEO Dennis Bellany. It allows farmers to quickly hedge diesel fuel purchases for up to 2 years in advance.
We have a fairly large fleet of fuel delivery trucks. We're also a fertilizer and crop protection dealer as well as an agronomy company. Our fuel division has prided itself in delivery within 24 hours when customers want it. And I developed this app as a need because fuel customers were saying, gee, I'd like to buy summer diesel in May, not winter diesel, so then we figured out a way to fill that need.
He tells us why the app is called Hedgehog.
Hedge your fuel and hog the market. It's really a true hedge. It's a hedge against price risk. And farmers want to eliminate risk. And actually, as a farmer, once you make a decision to make a big purchase ahead of time, you kind of sleep at night after that. And that happens with fertilizer, all the input costs that we have today. And now they can put a level of control into the risk of the price going much higher than they would like it to.
He explains how long it took to develop the algorithm.
The initial research was done in the 2010 to 2014. I collected data from all over the world, and I built an algorithm that was able to correlate what was happening in the world and what was happening in Western Canada, which sometimes not correlated.
He says farmers in West Central Saskatchewan have been able to use it in the Excel sheet form.
Yes, we've had a contract up till now, and it's been called lock and load. And many of our customers will come in various periods of the year and forward price their diesel with the same concept. But now they don't have to phone. They can just go to the app, watch it daily. Before they had to phone us every day and say, what's your hedge price? What's your hedge price? Now they can look at the app on a daily basis. And even if they don't hedge, they get a good idea what direction the market's moving.
That's Dennis Bellany, the CEO of RAC. His Hedgehog app was the Ag in Motion Innovations winner, in the Business Solutions category. Please stay tuned. Sask Ag Today from Ag in Motion will return right after this next break. And welcome back to the program. The Ag in Motion Innovation Awards were presented Monday night. The winner in the crops category was CropScan Ag's on-combine grain analyzer. Dean Scrivens is the company's technical sales specialist for Western Canada.
So the founder used to be in the United States. He worked for a company that built the Foss grain analyzer that is in virtually every elevator now in North America. He now lives in Australia. And so the unit is coming out of Australia now into North America. It's been in North America for probably 3 to 4 years, but it's catching on like wildfire. Farmers just need ways of managing inputs better. So it is coming out of Australia. It's built there, designed there, but comes into Canada.
He explains how it works.
Very simple, really. It measures light. So near infrared is the light that it looks at. So in a small chamber on the clean grain elevator, grain goes into there from the clean grain. It stops for a moment. It takes a scan of the grain, and then it dumps it out into the downside of the clean grain elevator and allows more grain to come in. Does this roughly every 3 to 5 seconds, does a scan, and then you get a data point out of that scan. So if it's wheat, for example, you'll get moisture and protein. If it's canola, you'll get moisture, protein, and oil. And depending on the grain, you get different types of results. So we have moisture, protein, fiber, starch, and oil.
Scrivens says there is a need for a lot of data points.
The data points go into our app where maps are made. So in a quarter of land, for example, you have all kinds of colored areas. Red, which would be lower protein. A bright green would be higher protein. No specific number on that because it depends on the grain and the data that is collected. But out of those maps, then, we create zones. And those zones go directly into creating a prescription for fertilizer application next year on that piece of land.
He says it will reduce fertilizer use.
It does, and it has. We have a case study which is available to anybody that wants it. This was done from a real farm in Wainwright, Alberta. Approximately 8,000 acres. That farm has had this system now for 2 years, moving into the third year. A soil scientist did the review of this and created the case study. In his first year, he saved approximately $100,000 of nitrogen inputs. He also increased his yield. We don't know how much, but he did because he started moving the inputs around. So taking it away from the high protein areas, putting it into the lower protein areas. And I might say, too, that the higher protein areas were much higher than what an elevator wanted. So on wheat, for example, you're looking for 13.5% roughly in Canada protein. You get up to 15, 16, 17%. They'll take it, but they don't need it that high. So what that means is you've got a ton of money going in to protein that you don't need, which is nitrogen. Other factors, though, affect the values. So if you have a really dry year and you've fertilized as per a normal year, your protein numbers are going to be high. But you're still going to have the lows and the highs so that you can start evening out your fields.
Scrivens says the device is relatively easy to install.
Yeah, we have 3 different versions. We can put them in any manufacturer of combine that I'm aware of. Case, New Holland, those take about 2.5 hours to install. Other brands take a little longer. Kloss takes a little longer. We've got them in John Deere's and so forth.
As for its price tag,
ballpark cost through dealers approximately $30,000 per unit. Like I said, the one producer in Wainwright, he made that back 2 times in the first year.
And Scrivens says you can come see him at Ag in Motion.
We are in the FCC Pavilion in booth number AG13.
Dean Scrivens is with CropScan Ag, an Ag in Motion Innovation Awards winner in the crops category. You're listening to Sask Ag Today, live from Ag in Motion near Langham. We'll return right after these messages. This segment is... And now time for the Resource Report, brought to you by Mazenk Fuels, your local branded Petro-Canada wholesaler serving southern Saskatchewan for over 40 years. Fill up the tank, call Mazenk, 306-721-6667. A new survey by the Council of Canadian Innovators has found 90% of respondents think changes to the federal government's capital gains policy will have a negative effect on the tech industry. Some 143 tech industry leaders were surveyed by the organization that represents and advocates on behalf of the tech sector. While 86% of respondents feel the capital gains tax changes will impact their ability to attract and keep talent, 60% say they will have a very negative effect on investment. Ottawa's policy change raises the portion of capital gains that companies pay tax on from 1/2 to 2/3. Over to the markets, the TSX is down 37 points at 22,812. The Dow is down 272 points to 40,925. Oil is up 33 cents at $81.77 per barrel, and the Canadian dollar is at 73 cents US. And that's the Resource Report, and that will conclude today's edition of Sask Ag Today. Doug, these 3 days obviously have been categorized by the heat, but that hasn't deterred everyone from coming here.
No, it's been very busy here. A lot of foot traffic walking through, and of course you don't have to walk through. They do have people movers here for people to climb on as well to check out all of the exhibits. Nearly 600 of them here. If you're in the Saskatoon area right now, you still have time to come on down and check it out. Of course, we're just northwest of Saskatoon, just past Langham on Highway 16. Very easy to find. You can't miss it. Plenty of free parking if you want to come check it out.
That's right. And this is also a place where, you find people that you've probably met at the last farm show, or even some old friends. I'll even give an example. The other day I ran into the president of SARM, Ray Orb. He was checking out our exhibit here, and I didn't recognize him at first, Doug. It was kind of funny. I look, and all of a sudden, oh my goodness, that's Ray Orb.
He was probably wearing a hat and sunglasses. You probably don't normally see him do that.
No, not often. He's usually in a brown suit jacket, so it was kind of different to see. And we also saw a mutual friend here as well, and it's been a really good experience overall. So that's going to do it here for Sask Ag Today, live from Ag in Motion. On behalf of Doug Falconer, I'm Ryan.